Now we're being joined by James Pena, who is a Chief Inspector for the Department of Environmental Protection, DEP. James, welcome to the show.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for asking me.
Thank you for coming.
Sure.
What does a Chief Inspector for the Department of Environmental Protection, DEP, do?
We supervise a group of citywide water use inspectors. Actually, there's a chief inspector in each of the 5 boroughs, because geographically we supervise a group of water use inspectors who go around taking care of water meter issue. And I'm happy to say that the agency right now has embarked on a very extensive program to replace all 840,000 water meters devices in order to enable us to obtain water readings electronically through the airwaves. At one time when I began with DEP back in 1980, we actually had to go to every single home, knock on your door, wait for someone to come to the door and enter your property to read the water meters. So we've come a long way technologically. We're actually putting something on the outside of your property that allows us to read the water meter through the airwaves. So we no longer have to go and bother you at home anymore. We'll just simply obtain the reading for billing purposes through the airwaves, which is very exciting for us.
840,000 meters.
I'm happy to say that right now we're ahead of schedule, that we're up to 81% of our goal in installing these devices in all the water meters. And the inspectors are actually installing them along with city contractors. And we're actually doing the maintenance work also, so the inspectors are quite happy. It's no longer just going there reading. We're able to see this information through the computers. And of course, because we are inspectors, we still have to issue violations, because we do check plumbing and we do check new installations to make sure that they're in conformance with city regulations.
What is a typical day for a water use inspector?
They go out on appointments that people make because they have a issue with the water bill. And sometimes we have to find out whether the issue is related to a water leak. So we have to go there and the customers make an appointment with the Bureau. In addition to that, we have plumbers. There's a lot of construction going on in the city who obtain permits to install a water meter. We want to make sure that the installation was done in according to city regulations. So we go there and check to make sure it's the right size, the right type meter, so that it ensures proper registration for billing purposes. And we also investigate complaints that people make to 311 regarding derelict landlords. They have water leaks, we're not taking care of it. We also respond to drought emergencies. We go around turning off hydrants. And we also have to enforce the regulations in the city of New York in the event that anyone is illegally tapping to the city water supply, trying to avoid paying for it.
How long have you been a water use inspector / chief water use inspector?
Well, I'm happy to say that I'm very happy to say actually that this agency has been good to me as an employee. I began with the agency back in March of 1981 as a water meter reader, which at that time is the lowest level of entry level position you can obtain with DEP. And I was one of the persons knocking on every door trying to get inside to read the water meter. And shortly thereafter, I was promoted to water use inspector, which did not just regulate me to reading water meters, but it also enabled me to go out and check, again, conformance with regulations. And I'm happy to say that I had people who recognize, not that I want to glorify myself, but I was shortly promoted provisionally to a senior water use inspector, which was a very exciting time and very much appreciated by me. And when a civil service examination came around for senior water use inspector, I was able to take it, and thankfully I passed it and I was picked up. And even after that, I was promoted once again to a supervising water use inspector. So I've always told people in my position that when you move up the ladder, you don't drop responsibilities, you actually acquire more responsibilities. You don't forget where you started and how you moved up the ladder. And ultimately, in January of 1995, I was promoted to Chief Water Use Inspector, which means that I now supervise a group of citywide water use inspectors, and not just in one borough, but any borough. So I've been rotated, and actually we get rotated every 3 years. So I've done my 3 years in Manhattan, I've done my 3 years in Queens, I've done my 3 years in Staten Island. Currently, I'm back in Manhattan. I was here from 1997 to 2000, and now I'm supervising the crew citywide here in the borough of Manhattan. And I'm happy to say that 80% of the crew that's there now is the crew I supervised more than 10 years ago. So the agency has been very good, and I'm more than grateful for the perks that come along with it.
James, we want to really thank you for coming on the show and enlightening us what goes on in the Department of Environmental Protection.
My pleasure, and again, thanks for asking.
I'm Gregory Floyd, President Local 237. This has been Reaching Out. Please join us again.